3 long days, some I don't know. It takes a little more than what you show, and that's yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
Recording from Cub Content Studios. This is take 2. Welcome to Bobby Finn Knows Everyone, a Pull Tab Sports production. I am Bobby Finn, born and bred on St. Paul's East Side, where it was all about looking out for each other, blue-collared hard work, and telling like it is. No BS. And that's where you're getting on our podcast. Always with me, Tommy Lord. How are you?
Doing great, Bobby. Thanks for having me on your program.
Thanks for coming, Tom. Producing our superstars, Chris Salazar. What's up, Sally?
What's up, fellas?
What? Can't hear you over there. Turn
Come
on your
on,
microphone.
Yeah.
And our
Sal
guest
without a mic.
today, Andy Judkins, Parker Hageman. Is it Hageman?
Hageman. Yeah,
Hageman, yep. You know, they do a podcast called Ducks on the Pond. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
That's
Appreciate
good.
you having us.
Yeah. I feel like this is Bizarro World or something. I feel like we already did this.
A little deja vu here.
A little deja vu.
Yeah.
So, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Traveled all the way from Chanhassen.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
St. Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are. Thanks.
We had a little bit of a haul.
Yeah. Well, hey, we have the Cub Content Studios hotel room across the street if you guys need to stay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cub also has a helicopter you guys could use to get back.
Oh,
so.
that would be great.
Do they have the whatever spa down the road, isn't it? Like the really nice hotel.
Oh, yeah. Yep. The match to Crosby.
Yeah.
Crosby Hotel.
Yeah.
Stillwater's kind of bougie. We're in the bougie area.
Yeah,
I'm not
welcome.
really-
Well,
yeah.
We're
We
bougie.
walked in and he was like, "Have you ever been here before?" I'm like, "Yeah." We came here with the neighborhood gang and like a bunch of adults without kids, and we did the boat club up and down the river.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun. It was a good time.
It's a
Beer
great
Can
river.
Island.
Yeah.
It's a great river.
Bobby and I have a boat club, too. It's called Chris Salazar's Boat.
Other people's boats.
Yeah.
We have the best boats.
It's the best
around.
boat to own.
Yes.
It's other people's boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris has a beautiful boat.
Is the boat called Take 2?
That's fabulous. Yeah. But thanks for coming, fellas. Appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, like I said, well, not like I said, but yeah, born and raised Lakeville, before it was North and South. Went and played high school baseball for a few years. Went down and played junior college baseball at Iowa Central in Fort Dodge, Iowa. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
It's a
but
powerhouse.
It's a powerhouse now.
in the
but
Midwest.
before it was a powerhouse. I mean, visiting Fort Dodge, Iowa you could tell a story every time you went. But came back, played 2 years down the road at Concordia St. Paul for Lunch McKenzie. And then went into coaching right away, Legion Baseball, coached for 2 years. And then Matt Maugers down at Minnesota State got offered the job after legendary Dean Boyer retired. He was his pitching coach. Saw me at the Gopher Classic tournament in the parking lot at Eden Prairie High School and was like, "Do you want to keep coaching?" And it's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You can come be GA. We'll pay for your masters, give you a little bit of money for your rent, and you have some fun with the rest." And went down there, graduated. 2 really good years. The assistant coach that was there is now the assistant at University of Illinois. And then Coach Maugers is still having a ton of success there. But we went to a World Series our second year and coached in the Northwoods League for 3 summers. One of the summers I met a guy. He's the other assistant. He was at Central Arizona, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you come on down and help us?" And went down there, spent 2 years there. One of the years we went to the JUCO World Series. So actually we went to back-to-back, or I went to back-to-back World Series at a D2 and the JUCO World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado.
All coaching.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. When you're low on the pole, you just
all
gotta work.
coaching.
You just gotta work your way up. But yeah, that was a ton of fun. And then from there, I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. Again, a guy I played for in the Northwoods League when I played. He was the assistant and made a connection there. And then spent 3 years at Butler University as the hitting coach, and that was a ton of fun. And
Were
then,
they Billikens?
Yeah.
Oh, they're the Salukis.
Oh, yeah.
Salukis,
Bobby
Southern
said
Illinois.
Salukis.
And then it was the Butler Bulldog. My wife's from here, and joined on with prep baseball. It's been a lot of fun ever since.
You guys do a great job.
Yeah.
And you're still coaching.
Still coaching. Yeah, I'm at Benilde St. Margaret's. Was there, and basically when I came back there, and was one of those things where I was working with a kid, and his dad said, hey, the head coach just got let go, or he took a different job, I think it was, and put my name in, and kind of one of those things, and got the job. It's been a ton of fun. Made a few state tournament appearances. We won one, and now the last 3 years I've got to coach Corey Koski's kid, so that's been a ton of fun.
cool.
And then he's like, well, I'll come coach with you. And so he's been sharing the dugout with a former big leaguer, which has been an absolute riot.
That's awesome.
And now his kid's a freshman, so he's going to be around a little bit longer. But yeah, to be able to sit in the dugout with a guy like that and listen to him tell like spring training stories, and just it's wild, and it's a ton of fun.
Did he ever tell you the David Ortiz peanut butter story?
He did. He actually did.
Let me hear it.
I don't know it word for word, but
Call him right now. Put him on the phone.
he
Peanut
did-
butter
he did
underwear
tell.
Ortiz put him on,
Yeah.
and I think he screamed across the clubhouse.
He screamed across the clubhouse.
Koski! Or something, you know.
Yeah, like yelled at him. It sounded like he was somewhat of a really good clubhouse guy.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how he is with our guys too. It's
He's a hockey player.
Yeah.
Volleyball, too.
Volleyball.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he'll tell a story about, and he'll say it to this day, because actually we had him on our podcast. Him and Caleb is his oldest, who's committed to, or I'm sorry,
An
his-
hour of
his third
podcasting that
oldest.
didn't hit the air either.
Yeah, but
Oh God.
well, he ended up texting me and was like, we needed to like revert some of that and go a different direction. But he tells a story in there about how his best sport was volleyball, hockey, and then baseball. Wow,
Incredible, right?
Back in the day, like way back. Obviously, he's older than we are, but he would tell the story about how he got recruited and like actually had to like dial up the phone that hung on the wall and letters were being sent in the mail and things like that.
No,
So-
you're talking my age. Yes.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
no, great guy, great family. He's got, like I said, one's over at the second oldest is over at Augustana playing for Tim Huber, and the other one's at Indiana, and then the youngest is a freshman.
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. He always seems like such a good dude.
Yeah,
Everything about him.
he's fantastic.
Classy.
One of the most laid back human beings I've ever been around for being a professional athlete.
Probably the most fun goalie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean, usually goalies are absolutely nuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a goalie.
Yeah, he was goalie. Yeah.
So, Andy, you did back-to-back World Series, state championship. Parker, come on. What do you got, buddy?
Well, I didn't have a former twin in the dugout that I was when I was coaching, but yeah, I mean, it took me 10 years to get into coaching the first time around into high school, so I was kind of late to the game, and I don't want to say I thought coaches were dicks, but I felt like that you had to have a little bit of that mentality of like, I want to yell at somebody,
Yeah.
and I just didn't have that. And it took me a while before somebody's like, hey, man, I really need some help. You play baseball, come on in the dugout. And we talked about this at the first go-round, but I like the way Andy phrased it where, like, yeah, you have to learn how to have a relationship, and you get to know the player before you start having the conversations on what they should be doing, what you should be working on, things like that. In between there, and I failed to mention this first go-round, I also started Twins Daily with a few other people. So, baseball's just been kind of a thing I've done for 20 years now, right?
So do you write for Twins Daily, or is it more podcast?
I did initially,
Yeah, okay.
but we've grown to the point where I don't have to write as much. We've
Yeah.
got so many writers, and we've got so much other baseball stuff to focus on with prep baseball and that. So it's great that we grew something on Twins Daily that other people can then, like there's other writers now that were younger and 10 years ago, and there was like four of us: Aaron Gleeman, John Bonus, some guys that you probably heard from K-Fan or doing their own podcasts. It was a small blogosphere, and now there's just all these young writers that want to either do a podcast, put their stuff out there. So I think it's great to support all that, and kind of like you guys here at Pull Tap Sports.
Yeah, right on.
His favorite famous line when he puts an article out, like out of his personal account, he'll just say "wrote stuff."
Wrote stuff.
He'll put the link
Because
funny.
it's like quarterly now. It's not, at some
Just
point I got to
wrote
talk to my
stuff.
wife and my kids, and I can't just constantly think about baseball.
So you guys should talk about prep baseball for those who don't know it. And then this is a kind of a whole platform for youth players to get recognized, noticed, build up their own following, and get some hopefully some deals out of it, right?
Yeah, 2014 I think is when our boss Rob Allison started it in Minnesota. Like I said, I came on in 2018, and it's just one of those things where he grew it base level. I came on, it started to grow more. Parker came on, it grew even more. But basically, we run events. There's open events. There's invite onlys. There's scout days. There's national events, and essentially we run these, and then we host everything on the website, prepbaseball.com. And I mean, you can go to any single state. Basically, it's cross country. But when we do the events, we essentially record every single thing that they do. Whether it's arm strength to we take video of everything that they do, hitting, defensively, when they throw their bullpens. The technology when I first started used to be like you'd see an old scout like sit behind the fence and radar gun and record every single pitch, and now everything is TrackMan. Like like you see what you see at the Twin Stadium when they flash up like change up and it moved this much and had this much spin, and so everything is on that, and there's a whole bunch of other technology stuff that we use. But it's completely crazy to me how when I played, or when all of us played baseball, and how much the game has grown now to like we'll sit and have on our podcast, we'll sit and talk to like a pitcher, and he gets all geeked out because he loves the TrackMan numbers, and like they'll have their own conversation. I just sit here and twiddle my thumbs. But like like anything from velo to how much a fastball moves to which direction it's moving and the spin that it's moving, like it's unbelievable. And now like college baseball has professional baseball has grown to it now, where it's like some of it I've heard from a coach like they can recruit just off numbers, and it's crazy like to think even that's a thing, but it is. But essentially, high school player, college coaches, prep baseball's in the middle. We host and have this platform. They come to it by subscribing to the website. These guys come to events. We put them on the website, and that's kind of the marriage. And it's incredible what high school baseball's been in Minnesota, and how kids have invested so much in themselves to try and get better. And it's wild, and it's been a lot of fun.
So I got to ask real quick about TrackMan for a second. So is it does the technology, do you have to like put like a machine behind home plate and then a machine in the out? Like how many machines are there that are recording all these different?
We have the TrackMan Mobile, which is like one unit that it is a radar and a camera, so it has two different measurements of what's happening. Somewhere in the machine, it calculates spin, whatever its direction it's headed, and it spits out things in the player
It's a
profiles.
Smaller machine they just put on the backstop kind of thing.
But
it's literally like
it's like when
the
when
unit's like this big that you throw on a stand.
when you're golfing at a
it's the same thing.
Same company that does golf stuff.
Behind it.
Yeah.
Wow, and it can get that much.
It's
info.
wild. Like we do it for BP, and like a kid will hit a ball, and within seconds it'll show how hard they hit it, how far it went, what the spin was off of it. Like it's insane. It's wild.
Wow.
Just like when you were in high school, right? Exactly how you remember your right.
The catcher velo.
Catcher velo.
Did somebody have a camera? Like, did anyone record anything?
Nobody needed to see when I couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher in the gym because I had the yips, and it bing bong off of my coach's head, and he yelled at me because I had El Changuito.
El Changuito.
That's what the Mexican leagues called it. And Bobby loves that story.
I love this story.
Yeah.
Like,
Bobby thinks he can still throw 80. Can we get
No,
a track
I
man?
don't. I
Did you bring
don't.
your TrackMan with you?
No.
You said you
Oh!
had it in the car.
Yeah, if I had it in the car.
don't.
You know what our track man's going to
Do
be?
you guys want to do an episode from a field, and we'll set it up?
Yeah.
Just
Like,
see
that
where
would be
you're at
awesome.
these days.
Because
Yes.
what we were going to do is
'Cause I-
Bobby's daughter drives so fast in her neighborhood that the cops put up like a radar in front of his house. And I go, Bobby, we're going to get a ball and just throw it. That'll track it.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he was like, I need to warm up.
I
for,
got to stretch out.
6
Yeah,
months.
I feel like the Tin Man.
You know the
Yeah.
movie The Rookie. That's how it all like you could
You're just,
seriously
okay,
get
that's-
some
that's-
Hey, let's do it real quick.
All right,
What's your top baseball movie?
top baseball movie.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go with Major League. I think
Yeah.
it's got the combination of baseball and comedy in it.
Okay. Andy?
I think 1 and 2 were super good. The Back to the Minors was just okay, but if I had to pick something off of that, I forced my kids to watch. God, I'm drawing the blank. Well, he's with the Rays.
The Rookie.
The Rookie.
Yeah, okay,
I
yeah,
forced my kids to watch that. My kid loves the pitch, the older one, so it's like I'm like,
you
you have to
gotta
watch.
go Sandlot or Bad News Bears.
They love
Bad News
Sandlot,
Bears
Bad
original's
News
awesome.
Bears.
Okay, ready?
The second Bad News Bears with Billy Bob Thornton. I had our kids watch this. I'm like, don't you repeat any of this in school.
Right. All right. I'm going to say a movie, and you got to give me, we'll say
stars?
5 stars is the best. Okay?
Okay.
1 star is the worst. Here we go. Major League.
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
Bull
Okay.
Durham.
I'll go with 4.
Yeah. 4.
Goddamn, Bull Durham was good too. I'll say 5. I'm going 5. I like that.
That speech alone by Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
The Natural.
Natural was. I'll give it a 3.5.
I go 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 3.
I did like. I mean, what was the bat called? Wonder
Wonder Boy.
Boy. Yeah.
And what was the Babe Ruth character? Was like Whammer. They called
Yes,
it.
you're right. Yeah.
Whammer.
Field of Dreams.
That was a good one.
It is a tearjerker. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't want to admit to crying. Like,
Right.
When his dad
there's
comes
no crying in baseball.
His dad comes out of the cornfield.
4.
It's-
Yeah,
okay.
I'll
I'm
go
a strong
4.
4 on that
Yeah.
one.
A League of Their Own.
I got a 3.
That was
on
good
it. It's
too,
funny.
yeah.
That's funny.
Sure. Good.
But I mean, it's one of the best lines that you still use on kids.
What's that one?
There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
yeah,
you get
yeah.
a kid that strikes out, he's crying. There's no crying in
Some of
baseball.
his one-liners in that movie are hilarious.
Yeah.
I like
They're
John
pretty
Lovitz
funny.
saying, "I'm
John
gonna go
Lovitz
give
is
the
so
wife
good.
the old tickle pickle." Tickle tickle.
How about The Sandlot?
That's a classic.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
5.
five.
for
I'd
me.
give it a 5.
Okay, but how about this one? This one might be the best. Air Bud 7th Inning Fetch.
I've never seen it.
I don't
What?
think I've seen it.
No.
Let's get these guys off the
Sorry.
show.
Yeah.
Have not seen
It's
it.
the one Airbud I haven't.
Baseball guy.
There's an Airbud like every sport, so they
Yeah, I
all go
don't-
together.
Yeah.
Do you have to watch the first one to figure out and keep up? To,
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, we got a break. Let's talk real quick about our favorite grocery store, liquor store, all the stores. Cub, who gives us the Cub Content Studio here. And you guys know it. Spring is coming. Summer's coming. That makes you feel like baseball. It also makes you feel like grilling out. So get to Cub, everybody. Check out what Cub has for their selection of barbecue stuff. You name it. They got the produce. They got the meat. They got the essentials, deli meats, party trays, bakery, all in one stop. So there's 100 locations in Minnesota.
Liquor store.
Check out local Cub. If you need to go to the liquor store, ask Bobby. He'll run in there for you. He's on his way after this. Go to Cub for all your shopping needs, especially in the spring and summer. So thanks, Cub, for sponsoring
Thank
the
you, Cub.
Content Studio.
I'm a
Thanks,
Chan
Cub.
Cub guy, so shout out to Chan Cub.
Yeah.
We do
Sand
Cub
Cup.
too. We got one in Elk River.
Yeah.
Sal, how's my mic? I sound like I blew it out or something, but maybe that's just me.
No,
That
yeah,
sounds good here.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about how much the game has changed, and
Yeah.
maybe it's just because the torpedo bat is just the news of the.
Oh my
of the
god. I mean,
week.
it is the news of everything right now.
And these torpedo bats, where it's like, I had to ask Bobby, like, how do they make? Like, you told me,
Like wherever they are consistently hitting the ball, aren't they moving that sweet spot to that?
Basically, enlarging the barrel to the
To
optimal
where that sweet
spot,
spot.
right?
Mhm.
And the Yankees hired an MIT, basically a coach, and he came up with all the formulas to say, hey, this is optimal. This is what you should do. Approached a couple of bat companies, remade them, and of course, game one, we see the Yankees go off for I think
9
they
home
hit
runs.
9 home runs.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to ignore the fact that the Brewers threw 90 mile per hour, little shitty pitches down the middle, and they crushed them. But like, hey, it's a good story with the torpedo.
and the
bat.
majority of the team is using those.
I think there's
I
like
think so.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
mean, it's a lot.
They're just making a
Majority
big
of the
deal.
lineup
Giancarlo
is-
Stanton used it last year. So like they kind of went under the radar of that and just became a huge thing when I think some of the numbers, like where you have a bigger sweet spot, and obviously we talked about the TrackMan and things like that, where you could see some of that exit velo and some of the launch angle, and people got in it. Locally, Ryan Jeffers is using it, so
Yep.
we'll see how it plays with him.
You have the Twins, right? You have the Twins one.
Oh God, let me see if I can.
He's
find
got
it
the
here.
Twins new bat. It's pretty cool.
The Twins' new
Yeah,
bat.
they came out
Yeah,
with a
so
new
they
bat.
big
got their-
hole in the middle.
They got their own. Yeah, it's this.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
hilarious.
like a toothpick.
It's
Yeah,
like
that
a
must
little
be what
toothpick.
that
There
must
is
be what
no,
the Twins are,
there's
yeah.
no sweet spot at all.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the torpedo is on. It's on everything. Portnoy's all over it. He's obviously a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
He's going nuts with it. But every time I turn a channel on or
Yeah.
look at something, the torpedo bat is.
I do
The,
like how it's
uh,
keeping baseball in the spotlight right now.
Well,
like a lot of relevancy with baseball.
So
which I
if
think
it
is
wasn't
fun.
the Yankees, if let's say the
Nobody would have
Rays
it.
were using this
Right.
in their minor league park they played, nobody would notice and
No.
nobody would care,
No.
right? It's the Yankees. They went off in their little softball field, against, like I said, shitty pitching against the Brewers. But
Their
like,
softball field.
like
I love
the
it.
end of the first series, the Mariners are talking to the media and saying like, yeah, we're ordering 5 dozen and they're coming immediately.
They
So-
spent a whole segment on the Twins pregame show talking about they brought the guy in they talked to the guy from Fangraphs or whatever it was out there, and just was, what do you think of this? And I don't know. He basically was like, they're just moving. How did he put it? They're moving the center of gravity basically on the bat, like further
Up
down.
towards the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Closer to
Yeah.
where
Less
you
of
can
a
control.
sledgehammer type swing and a little bit more. I mean,
Right.
what was it, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where it was the axe handle bat was the big thing. Like
Yeah.
everybody had.
He
like,
brought
their-
up all that too. He brought up like axe handle. He brought up like the puck handle or the puck knob. I mean, he brought up like all this stuff. I mean, there's
You know
always
what-
something different. There's always something
Right.
new.
You
A
know
lot
what
of
that's
it
going to do? It's
goes
going to
back
cost
comfort.
parents thousands of dollars buying the new bat
Well, I just
next
think
year.
it's funny, like the whole torpedo thing. Like some of these youth bats these kids swing, it's all barrel. Like, it's unbelievable.
Right.
Like it's like this much barrel and this much handle, and it's like
It's like
like
the-
anybody can hit with
the
that. I
soul
wish I hit
pole.
with that when I played. Like
Kids
it's-
all bring their own bats, right? To when you guys
Oh.
are doing your stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like
$450,
Yeah.
$600
Yeah.
bats. Yeah.
You know what the worst part about that is? When you buy your kid a $450 bat, they don't use it. Then they use somebody else's. Like, what the hell did I buy the best bat for then?
That one didn't
Nothing?
come with the hits.
Yes.
The hits weren't in
Oh,
that.
God,
bat. They're
it
in
drives
the
me
other.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it drives me absolutely insane.
What else? What else do you guys see with these kids coming in, and even just their mentality? I mean, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but
I think one of the funniest things in just youth ball now is like, a couple years ago, all the base runners put on the oven mitt glove,
Yeah.
right? The sliding mitt, right? So then you go out to a 10U game and the same kid is pulling out his like $90 oven mitt, even though he never slides head first and he's sliding feet first, but he needs to protect that one hand with that cool looking oven glove, right?
Yeah.
Now they all have the Whoop bracelets.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
those are a big thing.
what's
but
that?
I don't know. I had a kid. He basically took
So
15
cool, you don't even
seconds
know
to
about
start
it.
explaining it to me, and I was like, "This is
I'm over. Yeah, I'm good.
You gotta get a whoop
No,
bracelet.
I
Bobby.
mean,
Whoop bracelet is." The
I need
new
that
thing.
elbow pad. I need the,
Oh, yeah,
the ankle
yeah.
pad. I go,
because
dude,
it used like
who the hell are you, Barry Bonds?
what was the one around the necklace?
Fighting, the fighting
the fighting
PH,
necklaces
yeah.
were a thing. Then those fell off, and now it's this Whoop bracelet, and then there's everything Evo Shield everywhere that you can pretty much walk up to the plate and bubble wrap now.
Yeah,
so
well, I'm like, you play for an old school coach. You cannot bring this shit out there.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be like, get it back on the bench. I mean, if you can't handle, don't get me wrong. If you're a right-handed pitcher and you're a left-handed batter, I get it. Protect your right elbow, right? You're a left-handed pitcher and you're a left-handed hitter. Get up there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get up there and hit the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I get this sliding thing if you are a base stealer or, you know what I mean, slide head first to a point. Buxton killed us with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think he was too fast, to be honest with you.
He was too fast.
Yeah.
or- yeah.
I do think he was too fast because he would slide and he would.
Seriously.
And he was made of glass, but
Nobody steals bases anymore, right?
Well, now that we got bigger bases, we're supposed to be, and because of the pitch clock and the times you could throw over, that was supposed to increase.
and now you can't.
Right. Yeah.
You can't cover the base at all.
Right.
Do you
Yes.
like these new rules changes? What do you guys think? Following
He's got more of an opinion on it than I do. I just a lot of it just takes away from like what we all grew up watching, and like what we watch is completely different than what kids are watching now. I mean, I listened to K-Fan today, and they're talking about using the Hawk whatever for 1st and 10 now. Like they're changing like all that. Like chain gang is not a thing anymore
Oh,
next
right.
year. Is what I'm
Right,
hearing.
they're getting rid
So
of
it's
the
like,
chain gang.
but it's all these other things, like college baseball has a safety base. Like that used to be a softball thing, and there's nothing against any of it. Like some of that is player safety and all that stuff. But
Is it
there's
the
so much that's
pussification of
changing.
society?
yeah, well, it's the Gophers. One of the coaches over there was telling me the safety base, they lost one of their top hitters for a weekend or two because they were practicing running to it, and he like rolled his ankle.
The safety base wasn't so safe.
No, it's just it's all adapting. Like we talk about all the time, like adapt or die. Like it's really
I do like the robot ump behind the plate.
Yeah.
Because it drives me crazy when umps have different strike zones. A strike is a strike to me. It shouldn't be up to the ump.
No, but I think it takes away from like the human error of the game too.
Yeah, but
You know, like what we grew
nobody
up with,
comes
like,
to the game to watch the ump.
It's true.
I mean, if a strike is a strike,
Right.
if the ump's lined up inside or outside
The
or
best
whatever,
umps
whatever.
are the ones that aren't seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the only thing that drives me crazy. I'm like, I get it. I don't want robots controlling everything. They'll be hitting and fielding pretty
Right.
soon then too.
Right.
But at the same time, nobody's paying money to go watch these guys call balls and strikes.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the biggest changes, I was listening to this book, Last Manager. It's about Earl Weaver. Came out a couple weeks ago. But the fact that the manager in Major League Baseball is, it's more of, I don't want to say a ceremonial role,
metrics.
but yeah, you've got the front office in your ear. Like
Stupid.
we argue about like Rocco Baldelli doesn't know how to manage his bullpen. He's not managing his bullpen.
It's
the
already
front
figured-
office has
it's already
told
figured
him
out.
who he's going to use that day under what circumstance. Maybe there's one or two guys he could decide between, but ultimately it's given to him before the series even
Seriously,
starts.
how so? Because of how much they've thrown already?
Because of
Yeah.
metrics.
Because of
A,
metrics?
a little
metrics
bit of
in the
their
lineup.
arm,
Yeah.
a little bit what the
OPS
team's
of
got,
the other
yeah.
team, slugging, all that stuff.
But so and then on top of that, when you take out you put in the robot umpires or you have the challenge system, you don't get a fiery manager coming out to argue balls and strikes
Right.
like you used to.
Right.
Like that was some fun stuff. Like
Oh,
I know
George Brett. Oh my God.
the Pine Tar incident and Billy Martin just playing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yes.
like managers were almost more famous than the players of their teams
Yeah.
in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And now we don't have that. It's just a guy who's just kind of keeping the ship going forward,
Yeah.
or not, or sinking.
I
as we
get
see
that
this year.
part. Yeah, that is cool. I mean, that does draw a lot of attention that, I didn't think of that, to be honest with you, but
You've changed Bobby's
I-
whole
well,
There he goes. Yeah.
There you go.
I
Yeah,
still
he's a new man.
I still
Who's
hit
the
part of
one,
my face. Strike that.
He's a new man.
What was the one manager who always had the rants that it was like YouTube famous for a while?
That was the Earl Weaver. Yeah, yeah.
no,
yeah.
but he's like a independent.
Oh, Wally Backman.
Wally
Yeah,
Backman.
former twin, Wally
Wally
Backman.
Backman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He had
New
a
York
couple in the
Mets.
independent.
Yes.
Yeah. That's,
He's classic.
but those guys, they're not your managers anymore. They
No.
want somebody who's going to toe the line, who
There's no more
just
Lou
follow what they
Pinellas.
do. Yeah.
That does drive me crazy because I think there's a human element to coaching. You have to read a person. It's not just they're not going to do exactly what you want them to do because the numbers say they're going to do it. So you got to feel it too,
Yep.
right? So
I maybe wasn't able to throw the ball back to the pitcher, but my coach let me call my own pitches.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
That's why you guys
I called the
lost.
no hitter. Okay.
Yeah.
You did?
it. Yep.
Oh yeah, who'd you
But
have?
I
Terry
didn't have-
Leitenberg?
No, it was Desi Clancy was that.
Oh, okay.
Was Leitenberg was he?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
2 years old.
That's
when
a
I
whole
was-
nother
yeah.
thing
He's
too.
all right.
Especially in college baseball.
Looking at the dugout every single pitch
Yeah,
is just
well,
like
they-
all metrics.
Well, now they don't even.
The
That
one,
earpiece,
the
don't
one,
they now?
the one quote that I heard from a coach was like, "What did he? How did he put it?" I was like, "How do you feel about this? Whatever." And he's like, "I trust him, but at the same time, like, that's my job. Like, if he screws it up, that's my
Yeah.
I'm out. I can't put food on my table anymore for my kids.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you
you
got a point. Like,
But I mean, being a catcher, and sorry, I shouldn't be
have
the
to
one
read-
talking
yes,
about
you
this,
have
but I
to
would
read it.
read. I knew
Yep.
where we pitched him last time, where he was looking, how much he's leaning in, how much he busting on his hands. I would remember all that.
but
stuff
now
and go,
now those reports that they get,
are so detailed.
and even from professional to college, like I remember reading scouting reports, and our pitching coach was going through with them, and I used to sit there and just listen, like with the catcher and the pitching staff, and it's like, I mean, it tells you what that hitter has done for the 3 previous weekends and how to pitch them, and that's the hardest thing. Like, there's really good high school baseball players in Minnesota. They get to college and they're no longer the dude.
Yeah.
And then there's a book out on you, or
Yeah.
there's reports out on you for 2 or 3 weekends, and you're like, you can't figure it out or hit yourself out of a wet paper bag. Like,
It's funny. Girls softball is laughing at us right now because they had cards before we had cards.
yep,
Oh yeah.
They would look at their back pockets
Yep.
and see what they did, see what the play is. All of a sudden, actually, 10, 20 years later,
yep,
we're doing the same thing. But it is. I mean,
it's wild.
times have changed.
What's
for
the
sure.
next thing? What's the next thing you feel like? Next rule change or the next kind of.
Yeah, I didn't see the torpedo bat coming. I think that's
Bigger baseball. I don't know. I mean, it's
Kitten ball.
yeah.
slow
I don't know.
down.
The idea of a player manager again might be something because the roster
Reg
size
Dunlap.
is roster size is very valuable. If you can get somebody who could take it at bat or do something.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole foreign substance thing, like when they were checking after every single inning, like is not even that big of a deal anymore.
Oh no,
Don't they check it still every
Yeah,
time
but,
with pitcher
like,
wash off?
Pitchers have still figured it
They've
out.
figured out new recipes
Yeah.
to
Oh,
make
really?
it non-sticky, and the thing they immediately
Break the news
yeah.
here.
I'm not
Just
gonna,
whatever
I'm not
they
gonna out people.
whatever
I'm
they
not gonna
can
out
do
people.
to mix in with your sweat, or I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's nuts.
There was a time, if you look back when they put it in, like it took a, spin rates took a little bit of a dive, and then it went right back
Yeah.
up about a month later.
Garrett
when they
Cole
figured out. Yeah.
was throwing for the Yankees. His spin rate when he was at the Astros was off the charts, right? Signed that monster contract,
yeah.
and his spin rate isn't the same anymore. So
No.
something happened.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
crazy.
God. Bobby, should we talk about a couple of our more sponsors? And should we do maybe our Bobby's bar review?
should we do the bar review?
Huh? We want to talk about your favorite bar you've been to lately?
Well,
We've got a new bar review sponsor.
who's the sponsor?
It's Elevated Beer, Wine, and Spirits. They're out of White Bear Lake. And these guys are very into community. They've been around for 10 years, and they are ready to be part of our Pull Tab Sports community. It's thanks for sponsoring us. And they're all about their craft. They're full service. They do it all. They take care of you. And they got great prices. I know we love to drink the Bud, Miller, Coors, McGolden, all under $18. Okay, so head over there to Elevated Beer, Wine, and Spirits. They're owned by a couple guys, Ryan and Tom. I like that guy, Tom. He's got a good name. And they've got unbeatable prices. So go downtown White Bear Lake. Check them out if you're over here on the east side. And they're sponsoring Bobby's Bar Review.
All right, the elevated bar review now, huh?
Yep, Elevated Bar Review.
All right,
We're elevating this.
we're elevating the bar review.
Where have you been?
Well, I was at Crooked Pint. It used to be Champs on 35 and
Yeah.
Larpenter or Wheelock, whatever that is. But
Yep.
Crooked Pint.
Crooked Pint.
Yeah.
Big place.
It's a big place. It's
Yeah.
it's set up awesome.
And so is this kind of place you could go and hang out and watch some games, or is this
Watch
like
a lot of
fancy
games.
date night?
No, well, kind of got a mix. I think
Really?
you could bring your date there.
Okay.
I mean, our wives, your wives,
Yeah.
you married?
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right, 4 wives you could bring there.
Could you
So,
bring your kids to hang out, run
yes,
around?
I
And
How
think
do
about
the
your
kids?
How about your girlfriends too?
Yeah,
just-
wives,
Wags?
wives and
Yeah.
girlfriends.
Okay.
Yeah, bring your wags.
I don't want
there.
them to meet each other. That's the
Right.
problem.
Right.
Wives on Friday.
That's a
girlfriends
big
on
enough
Saturday,
place.
so
They
good
probably
fellas.
won't run into each other. But
Okay, good. Okay, so what did you think of the service there over at Crooked Pint?
service was good. Service is very good. Went for lunch, so it wasn't too busy.
Okay,
But I've been there when it's busy. Service has always been good.
above a 9.
I would say a 9.
Oh, okay. How about the food? Did you have any?
Food was good. Food was really good.
BLT, fish sandwich.
I think I had a fish. Yes, I had a walleye sandwich. Yep.
God, I know.
It was Friday, so yes.
And was it good?
It was dynamite. Yeah. I think they caught it in Mille Lacs.
Okay, relax.
Ran it on
Relax
down.
walleye. What
I
are you
taste
going
my
here?
walleye.
You go 9-1.
I'll go 9-2 on the
Okay.
food. Yeah.
How about the atmosphere? You're like,
Atmosphere was lunch, but usually it's pretty good atmosphere. It's a nice place. There's a lot of TVs, a lot of action.
okay,
So I'll say a 9-1.
okay, and then drinks.
Drinks are 9-4.
9-4.
Yeah.
Bobby's never had a drink under 9-3. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
it's-
So
Is
it's
it always the same drink?
not necessarily. I had a couple vodka sodas, and I always forget to order them tall. And then they pour the same amount in a short, and next thing you know, I'm like, hey.
all right. Now here's the
Lucky.
trick for Bobby's Bar Review. I don't know if we've had some fancy people on before, and they don't quite understand what our basis for a good bar is.
Sure.
Did they have golden tea?
They did.
Did they have touch tunes?
They did.
And did they have pull tabs?
They did.
Oh, all right. They had a
Yes.
trifecta.
The
That's-
trifecta is
uh-huh.
dynamite. Yeah, pull tabs are crazy there.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that's Bobby's Bar Review. Go check out Crooked Pint.
Crooked Pint.
Tell them that we
Maplewood.
sent you.
Hey, I got a question for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Based on that, what's your go-to touch tune song when you go into a bar? What are you putting on there? What are you rocking?
I'm always rocking Freebird.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline's, yeah, that's a panty dropper.
That's a place that has all those things too. If you go to the South Metro, you got to go to Old Piper Inn.
Oh, I feel
I've
like
been to
I've
Old
been
Piper.
there.
We've been there for hockey. I
Have
thought.
we?
It's got
Yeah.
popcorn.
Oh, maybe that
Go
we
in
need
and
to
get
add
your own
that.
popcorn, and then
Uh-huh.
you get they got the pull tabs, but they have the
Is that
golden
Lakeville,
tea.
right?
They got darts too, right off Cedar. Yeah.
Yes, we've been there. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
That was my favorite pizza growing up.
The
It's the
Old
best.
Piper Inn. All right, we'll
Old
have to go
Piper
there.
Inn.
Maybe do a little.
Hey, yeah, this isn't the bar review for Old Piper. Let's we'll do that next time. All right.
Sal, what are you yelling about
All
back
right,
there?
all right.
At the old Piper Inn, can't you dump the tabs right on the floor? Or it used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classic. I love that place.
Yes, absolutely.
Go
you
there
can throw
every
stuff
time
on
I
the
go see my
floor.
parents.
Yeah, it's dynamite.
Okay, now we've got a dick of the week too. So, like you'll hear at the end of the podcast, Bobby doesn't want people to be a dick. Just be a good person.
Don't be a dick.
But there was some bad people this week.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll just say this: we have a new sponsor for the Dick of the Week too. It's Duke Cannon. So
who doesn't like Duke Cannon?
real quick, if you like, high quality grooming products, they make high quality grooming products for hardworking men, not high men, hardworking men.
Could be both.
And they got a new look. So if you go to Target, check them out. They've got a package with a giant D on the cover of this package.
Giant
A
D.
giant D. So look for the big D. And they've got bricks of soap. They've got thick body wash. They've got deodorant, hair care, beard care, cologne, you name it. I think we got some products here on the table. And they got you smelling your best. So look for the big D at Target, but also Walmart, Amazon, DukeCannon.com. And once you're hooked, you will be hooked for life. So that's work harder, smell better. That's Duke Cannon. They've been a sponsor for a long time. Thanks, Duke Cannon.
Thanks, Big D.
So who is the big D of the week?
Well, there's a couple.
I've
I
got
think
a favorite, but
you got it. Well, I know what your favorite is, but I that Harrison Barnes. We went to a spring training game, and I'm about team unity, right? I don't like when people like look different than everybody else. And he comes out and he's got all the gear and it's pink and purple, and I'm like, and I'm talking to my kid. I'm like, well, who the hell is this guy? How is he accepted to wear something different than the rest of the team?
Right.
so talk about a guy that needs a new contraption, a new glove, a new.
But it wasn't just that. I mean, that drove me crazy. I guess that started off, but then somebody got out before him. He walks to the dugout. He walks to right field. He walks off the field. Like, look, I mean, you had a coach in that? I'm like,
Lollygaggers.
yes. Oh my God.
Lollygaggers.
I was like, dude, grab the bench. I don't care how good you are. I mean, don't be a dick. And he drove me crazy, absolutely crazy.
Andy taught that guy everything he knows, by the way.
Yeah, I wish.
He coached him up.
I mean, he's
But
obviously a great player, but I'm just
Yep.
like, come on, dude. I mean, be a part of a team.
Yep.
I don't care if you're in the majors or not. Act like you want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And I don't want any part of a guy like that.
You guys ever coach kids like that?
I don't know if we should.
Yes.
You
Yes.
don't want to name them
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
on the air.
But yeah, let's
won't
just-
name
yes,
names,
yeah,
but
yeah.
there's always
You got the prima donnas
yeah.
that just want.
Yeah.
Maybe they get more money than anybody. Maybe that's just who their
1 in
parents told
20.
them.
My JUCO coach always said there's always 1 in 20.
Yeah, and
But-
it's
It goes back to what we talked about, like, hey, the access to social media. They see how other guys are doing things, and they want to be that guy that stands out. The people that stand out, they get seen, so that's where it kind of comes from. But yeah,
well,
don't-
I agree.
Don't be a
and
dick. Is what you're
trust me, I'm like, I'm the proponent of that, and when I see different than that, I'm just like, fires me up for sure.
We couldn't have hair underneath coming out of our hat on the bottom, and if we did, he would go, Lord, and then we'd have to run a lap all the way around the outside of the field. Like it was, I mean, it was like talk about like
Hair coming out
the
the
Yankees and the beards thing, right? It was we had to be uniform,
Yeah.
and now that the Yanks are wearing beards, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that's well, somebody had Aaron Judge on a post game, and he was in a suit, shaved, everything else, and they're like, well, captain there is going to try to lead by example by keeping that away from everybody. By post game, most guys don't put on suits. Like he's putting on a suit to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Like I think he's trying to just say like, hey, even though we don't have this rule, we have this rule, right?
Cool.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Speaking of suits, should baseball coaches, wear suits instead of dressing up like you're part of the team? Like,
Oh,
why are you
hell
guys?
no. I don't-
Why are you guys
I barely
wearing
want to wear
uniforms?
pants when I'm there. That's one
But
of the
why do
problems.
coaches wear uniforms?
It was back when they had the old player coach
Yep.
rules.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, if you're
That's
on the
why he
borderline,
wants it back. He
Yeah.
wants to get back.
if
out
you're on
there.
the borderline,
Yeah.
I get
Parker's
it.
going out.
Yeah.
But if you were, I mean, major league coaches shouldn't wear. They're not going to the game. So you're saying they should dress up like NFL coaches?
Well, now
Like-
they some
Right.
of those pants, some of the baseball pants now are so comfortable. They're almost like sweatpants.
Yeah, they're like
It's
Lulu's.
unbelievable. Like they're
Lulu, if you're listening, sponsor us.
But
Yeah.
Tony La Russa with the White Sox when he was 80 years old looked silly running out to the umpire
Yes.
in his uniform like
Yeah.
that.
Stirrups
It's
and
like, hey-
everything.
Hey, man, just wear some slacks. You're
Right.
good. You're
Yeah,
fine.
so-
or they wear cleats. Like I don't know how you
Yeah.
could sit there for. I mean, a high school game, 7 innings with cleats on. No way.
Clicking around the
No
dugout
way.
concrete. Yeah.
No chance.
You guys still get out there and hit the fungo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. I just broke my back in actually. Like I
play-
was stiff for a week.
Did you play a little fungo golf too with the rest of the staff? Or
No,
what?
well, no, not yet. But it took me a week to get the swing back in shape. starting to get old.
Tightens up, man. You turn into a
did.
tin man. I'm telling
That's
you.
what happened.
The
That's
hands,
exactly
the back,
what
everything
That's
starts.
exactly
yeah,
what happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you wear your Chill Boys underwear?
I don't have any. I heard a lot about them.
Oh, all right. Let's talk about Chill Boys real quick. We'll send you off with a pair. I hope we've got some around here because Chill
Nice.
Boys makes life-changing underwear. They're cool to the touch. They're made with bamboo, and they make bamboo boxers, boxer briefs, performance boxers. You can't go wrong. It's a real quick plug for Chill Boys because I wore my Chill Boys down in Mexico, Sal, and I was cool breeze, baby. Especially when my blood pressure was about 195 from drinking tequilas all day. But
They were in Mexico for a week.
yeah. So go grab yourself some Chill Boys at chillboys.com and use the code PULLTAB15 for 15% off. But that's Chill Boys. So you got to wear Chill Boys. I think we'll send you home with some boys, and you can wear them on the
I would be more than
baseball
happy to try
field.
some.
For
Explain how they make bamboo into a material that you can wear.
That's
I'm not-
that's
they
top
make
secret.
baseball bats out of bamboo.
Slice it real thin.
Remember in Goodfellas when he's cutting garlic by like a razor blade? That's how
yeah.
they cut the bamboo. There's like an Italian guy in the back just making the
But that is
underwear.
true. The baseball bat's made out of bamboo.
Bobby, what else you want to get into with these guys? I mean, I feel like we've got some more things to cover. Do you want to play like a little quick game?
Let's play a quick game.
Okay, so you guys are into all sports, right?
Sure.
Maybe you know the answer to this. There's 6 professional sports teams that share the same team mascot name. Like
So the team name or the mascot?
the mascot name. No, the team name.
The
like the Minnesota
nickname.
Wild.
Oh, yeah,
Like if
okay.
there was like the Sacramento Wild, you'd be like, okay,
Yep.
the Wild.
Cardinals.
Cardinals, ding, one.
Mm-hmm. He probably knows them all.
Well, you go ahead and you throw in one then.
Bobby's confused.
Jets.
Yep, bing.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Panthers.
So you got the Winnipeg Jets and you got the New York Jets.
Kings.
Panthers. You got another
Panthers.
one, yeah.
Kings
Oh, we're
and
all
Panthers.
Canadian.
Yep.
Yep.
Sacramento Kings, LA Kings,
Mhm.
Carolina Panthers. Who's the other Panther?
How many are there, you said?
6. I think you're missing 2. You've got Jets, you got Kings, you got Panthers. So you're missing 3. Come on, Bobby.
what was
Come
the
up
first
with
We had
one.
Cardinals.
We had Cardinals.
Oh, you
on
did
that.
get Cardinals. Okay,
Yeah.
you got Cardinals.
So we got one more?
You got 2 more.
Well, if this is dead silence, we're going to.
And I'll say
No,
both of these they have
Gettable?
baseball teams. Mhm.
Really?
So you
okay,
baseball boys.
okay.
Rangers.
Yep,
Oh,
Rangers.
Rangers,
Yep.
yeah.
Bobby got one.
That was the other one.
Wow.
I'm
okay.
just like-
I'm just going over the.
I'm going by the divisions in
Yes,
my
Yeah.
head
geography,
right now.
just crossing the country. Orioles.
There's only one
Wrong.
There's only one
It's
Guardians, I
not-
guess.
Yeah, it's not the.
Think about the coasts.
Okay.
Okay, they're both of these teams
Kings.
are on the coast.
He
You already got the Kings.
Yeah, he
Already
said
All right, we
Kings
got the Kings.
All right. Okay.
on the coast, huh?
One's a baseball team and one is a football team.
Got the Panthers.
Okay. Wow.
Coast. Oh, the Giants.
Giants.
Ah,
Ding.
it's the
Andy
Giants.
got it.
There we go.
That's always a fun game to play. I
That
like
is a
playing
good one.
They're playing with the high school kids too. Is
Yeah.
pretty fun if they're little jocks. So
Yeah.
that's fun. I like it. Do you guys got any favorite what's your favorite logos? Your baseball. What's your go-to baseball logos?
Ooh.
Like you're like, oh, that's the sweet.
They've changed so much now that they're all different. I mean,
Like current logo or just in general?
in general. Like
what-
I remember,
what you would-
I used to love
yeah.
the Expos hat.
Oh
I
yeah,
used to be
yeah.
like,
Expos.
Expos is one of the
Expos
best.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get my hands on the a-holes.
The ass hats. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a thing.
There was a
yeah.
what was it when they line up their division? It's like if they're a certain way, it spells ass hat.
Oh really?
I think that's right. Or is that the one with the A's logo that is duplicated in a way that makes it look like an ass something?
So there's a story, so a new era came out with hats, and it got through product and development, and it's with Texas,
Oh
the
yeah.
Yeah.
Rangers, and the Astros. And the Astros, it says the a-holes. And the Rangers, what was the Rangers?
The
called?
Rangers had a
Tatas,
T
right?
in the
Yeah.
middle, and it said Texas, but instead of the X, it had a T over
Yeah.
it. It said Tatas. Which
Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby's
I-
not a boob man, so he
That's
really doesn't
yeah.
like
That's
those
a
hats.
Billy Ripken. I mean, the old.
I like the 1970s, 1980s. Like, if you talk about branding or the way that logos in general have changed, it's always been like this. The art has been reduced into streamlined stuff. But if you go back to like the 70s and the 80s logos, like the old I don't know, the Rangers had a cool one with a cowboy hat, and like they've just
What the
taken
Padres with the
Padres, the
Padres.
swinging
So
friar.
many of them
yeah,
have changed.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. So many of them have changed.
and again, we could complain about, you know, the way the world has changed forever, but like that was, I'd say, like one of the best eras of logos ever,
Yes.
70s,
Yeah.
80s.
Yes.
Pirates with their
I
Pirates.
just love the simple ones. Oh, you're talking about the stripes?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think some of the best
Kent
ones are
Tecalvi.
the ones like that haven't changed as often.
Right. The Red Sox, the White Sox.
I like the Atlanta Braves A with the axe was one of my favorites. My brother would argue that he thinks the best logo in all of sports is the Mariners. With the yeah. I don't
And with the
No,
the
it's
trident.
the
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the
Trident.
it's
Yeah.
the no, it's the
Not that
actual
one, the
like
S?
Mariner. Like the S.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The old Trident one,
Yeah.
the 80s, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a colors guy. Like what goes well with the other one. Like I think the Baltimore Orioles logo or the uniforms and the black and the orange is fantastic.
See, I I went to high school in the late 90s, and like the Devil Rays and like that like loud teal color, I thought that was hideous at the time. And now that's back and it's retro, and all the kids are wearing that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff. Like that's the big thing.
That's one thing in high school now. You'll see everyone used to laugh at softball for wearing the different colored pants. Now they all wear like different colored pants. We wear them. We wear all reds.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
Rockford wears. Rockford just won the 2A state
All
title,
green?
and they wear it's like a dark
Yeah.
green.
That's
it's
good luck. Yeah.
like all the way up and down, dark green.
I like it.
Delano wears all black with white pinstripe.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Very
it
cool.
would get hot though. I suppose like the
Spring
high
here,
school,
yeah.
high school.
but
season's
everyone's
over by
getting
then.
it's all getting different. Like you'll see some with navy pants. You'll still see the white pants, but I mean, I want to say Minnetonka had some blue pants, I think. But
Yeah.
Flat
yeah.
bills. Is everything flat bill too?
Yeah, that drives
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, all the kids
Yeah.
are doing flat
It's like
bills.
there's that hat was made for a reason.
Yeah.
Curve
You
it
know,
around a little
right.
bit there.
Yeah, no hair.
flat bill and crooked now. High school
Flat-
kids wear. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
come
Who was the
on.
first one? CC Sabathia. He just had it like this, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Then it was Fernando Rodney.
Oh, yeah. Then it's Fernando Rodney. Come
Like,
on.
was it Brad Penny who had like the full
Yep.
out curve
Yep.
here
Yes.
for the Marlins?
Josh
back then?
Beckett.
Yeah.
Those
Josh
two just.
Beckett, yeah. Like they can't see
Who
left
was
or right.
the
because it's
who was the sinker baller when the Marlins won it that year with
Livan Hernandez?
righty, big huge Kevin Brown.
Kevin Brown. Okay,
Kevin
yeah,
Brown
yeah.
was
He
another
started-
He was a
straight
beast.
Yeah.
straight curl type guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
good. I mean, that's
You should
fun.
ask Corey Koski what he liked to do.
I should.
Yeah.
I should. Yeah.
He like I said, he's so laid back. Like it, I don't know. He's unique.
You might
He's a
might
great
lose
guy.
him to the team next year. He might go be coaching for the Twins. The way it's going now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you'll be coaching for the Twins. You never know, right?
No
You
chance.
guys-
I
both
don't
you
pro
guys-
ball like you said earlier. Like the amount of stuff that you get told what to do versus
You're
like,
not even coaching anymore.
no.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what's so fun about
Gardy-
high school ball.
Toby Gardenhire will be the next coach.
It's possible. It's possible. He's
Yeah.
kind of the guy here in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's get groomed, maybe.
So what else you got with these kids and these trends? Like what are you guys seeing? I just want to know a little bit more about what you're seeing out of these kids from Minnesota. Can they compete with these Southern kids?
Well, we were just talking about that. We just had a preseason All-State, right? And the thing that I think we both talked about here the last few years is the physicality of these guys. Like, I don't know if somebody got in their ear and is like, hey, be in the weight room or, eat steak, get bigger. But, like, there was a noticeable size difference, like, from the kids about 2 years ago to now. So I think that's been a trend. And I don't know if there's more access to that whole thing or just people are just encouraging it more. But
Yeah.
just size and physicality.
Good.
Yeah, I don't care when anyone says physicality plays, especially at the next level. You can walk on campus as a freshman and look more like a sophomore or junior and then not have to play catch up with your body.
Yep.
Because it's different. That's what a lot of kids don't understand too. Is like it's different. You're not the dude anymore. Like All-State isn't like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter when you go play at a Power 5.
Oh yeah.
Like you're a nobody. You're trying to make your way again. And if you could show up and have a physical presence, like it is different. It is definitely a different factor. Because you get recruited because you have tools, right? Well, like
They don't want to teach you that. If you have that going in, you already have it.
well, that's half these kids that commit to big time schools, they leave the minute the high school season's over to go start in the weight room. It's like, why aren't you starting that 12 months earlier
Right.
or 18 months earlier or whatever. But yeah, they bring them down, they make them take a class, and they get them in the weight room with their lifting guy, and like it's like even when they come back and you see them, like it's a sizable difference in just 2 months. It's wild.
And
now
it's all
that
below the waist most of the time, right?
well, some of them, and I mean, it depends on what your frame can hold, but you know, like, and then on top of all that, like they get done lifting and they have all this access to milkshakes, to protein shakes, to food, to
Right.
so there should be no excuse like up your calorie intake for
Nope. I mean, it's
for-
all it is like this. Here you go.
yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, on our podcast, Ducks on the Pond, where you can listen to it at prepbaseball.report.com, we interview some college guys or guys who, you know, are in pros, and the first thing they always tell us is like, I wish I was lifting or eating better when I was in high school.
Yep.
Like that's the thing that they would change, knowing what they know now. So
Yep.
if there's any high schooler that ends up listening to this, I know this isn't rated for high school kids, but you know, that's the message that we're driving home.
kids,
Yeah.
for sure.
Get
But
bigger.
Yeah, I, other than that, like the arm, I call it more of an arm strength. I don't like pitchers. I think develop later. I think there's a difference, but like the arm strength is incredible. What these kids are doing.
What do we have? 18
Yeah,
kids throwing 90.
Yeah, we had some stupid amount. I
Yeah.
mean, there was a 2028 that was up to 91.
Freshman.
And yeah, freshman in high school, like up to 91.
Crazy.
And it wasn't just like he threw 91 and it was like sprayed all over the zone. Like his other stuff played so well, and he's what 6'2", like 180 pounds. Like
Nothing but
for
projectability.
as a freshman.
Wow.
So, you know, it's and again, like everything plays out at different times for different individuals. You know, I coached a kid in high school that when I first started, he topped at 78, and when it was all said and done, he was in Double-A with the Mets throwing 97. Like,
Wow.
it's just he always said like
Every mature is different.
he just said a lightning bolt hit my arm, and it didn't hit my arm until I was 22. Like it, you know, it was one of those things where they're all different, but the fact that there's so many kids now throwing harder at such a younger age,
Right.
it's being there's really good coaches around here that are teaching these guys this stuff that every once in a while one of them get plucked by a pro team.
Is heavy balls really a no-no?
No.
I think
you like
everybody's
it?
different.
It's a yeah. Is that the opposite of a no-no?
Well, I mean,
It depends on how you use any
Yeah,
tool, like
right.
how you're using it, how you're implementing it. But I mean, depending on the player, yes, it can clean up arm path. It can add arm strength. There's different ways to use it.
Yeah.
You just probably shouldn't just pick up the heaviest thing and try to throw it as far as you can, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And are kids taking care of their arms more now than like when I mean, we had
I
a
think
couple
they-
great pitchers
for
that
sure
just
they-
burned out right away because the coaches were pitching them every.
I was having this conversation the other day where
Game.
it's like, you know, you guys in high school, same with me. It was like, hey, you'd throw a few balls in the bullpen, maybe do a long toss, and then you'd go. Like the amount of the heavy balls, the plyo balls, the arm bands, and just the prep to get them before they even start warming up is crazy. Now on the flip side, there's probably more tournaments, more games, more opportunities to burn out. Freshman kid, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen to him, but if he gets into the wrong place where a coach just starts using him, like, yeah, it seems good. You're gonna blow every freshman away, but you know, how many bullets are you putting on that arm? There's only so many. Right?
In high school ball, they have the pitching stipulations too, where it's amount of days rest off or amount of pitches thrown and all that stuff. Now
You can abuse it
You
still.
can
That
still
should-
ab-
that
you
should-
can
yes,
still
and
abuse it.
That's I have an issue with that, right? I mean, it's cold.
Mhm.
You throw a pitcher more than 80 pitches this early in the year,
Yep.
I think that's a problem.
They're high school kids, so they get the 1 week arm care and then tryout week. What is it, 2.5 weeks maybe, if weather cooperates.
Correct, yeah.
So it might be 2 times on a mound and then in a game. And if you're just like, hey, you're 105, go in a cold weather like this, yeah, you could still hurt, man.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's I don't
Yeah.
know. But go back in the day, it's like we were talking about earlier. Nolan Ryan would throw 200 pitches. Well, so how is that different? You know what I mean? It's like how
He
is
was
that?
built like a brick shit.
Yeah, I know,
house.
but-
He's a
Right?
farm boy.
Yeah.
There's big ass kids that
Yeah.
can keep throwing, you know. So how is it different to where they were to where these kids are now? I know obviously we all know science is teaching us something, but they didn't. They would throw 200 pitches and not bat an eye.
Yeah,
I would say
it's the training technology piece.
it's partly that. It's partly the max intent. Like, hey, you're going to throw as hard as you can for as long as you can, and then you come out and then you'll rest and then you'll do it again. Like, I don't know if the pitching's the same, where it's like, hey, let's subtract as much as we did, a few decades ago. But like those kids are throwing max intent, they're training for max intent, and they're being used that way. So I think that's where you get more damage. And I've talked to pro guys that, will tell you, these coaches will say in the development side thing, like, hey, if we blow an arm out, we got another guy. It's
Is
Kleenex.
Tommy John only a matter of time for these kids? I mean, you feel like
I don't know about from a high school perspective, but
Yeah.
like from a pro perspective, like what he said, like they'll burn one out and they'll be like, just bring in the next guy.
Yeah.
Like
it's crazy.
It's the thing that drives me nuts the most about high school pitchers is like they do all this training, they do all these things. One, they do everything from the windup. Nobody pitches from the stretch. Everything is in an environment where it's,
Clean.
Clean. I don't want to say easy, but clean, where it's like
Nobody's on base.
there's zero stress,
Right.
right? There's zero stress. Sometimes you're throwing to a catcher, sometimes you're throwing to a 9 pocket and all these other things. And then the minute the high school season starts and they go back to their high school coach, or they go to their high school coaches, and then all of a sudden the coach is like, it's 45 degrees out, we're practicing outside, boys. And then the kids just like don't know what to do.
I don't know if you guys see high
they
school
get
mounds.
they get shocked. Like literally they get shocked like, oh, I can't feel the ball anymore. Yeah, it's cold and there's wind. Like, lick your fingers, figure it out. Like, that's the one thing. And then when a runner gets on first, they get in that first game and they're like a 1-8 to the plate, and it's like you're not, it's all these other things, and that's where, like I say, arm strength, and then the pitching side of things, like everything else that you have to do besides throw a ball 92 miles an hour, and some of them don't know how to do it. It drives me nuts. Like it's like.
And then they do, and someone bunts down the line, and they forget to cover first base.
It's that, or like
the
or how to
catcher
throw it
can't
to a
throw
first
it.
or
baseman,
they'll walk a kid because they're going back to max intent and they're spraying the ball all over the strike zone. They walk a kid and the walk turns into a triple because he stole second because he didn't know how to hold him, and then he stole third because you bounced one in the dirt, or you just straight up stole third on you because you're forever, and then a ground ball to the shortstop scores, and it's like, I don't know, it's.
So that's how to take advantage of your team.
It's
all right.
It's playing baseball, like, and then there's just more to it than throwing hard and all that other stuff. That can get you recruited, but at the same time, like, you have to show that you can pitch and do.
You want to
other
win.
things
You
too.
want to win. You want to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg Maddux is a perfect example, right? Nobody could pitch like that guy.
Yeah.
He didn't have the most heat, just could throw the ball, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks
you
for having us on. This is great.
Yeah,
This
we got
is fun.
we got 2 episodes out of this. Yeah.
We take 3.
Shut up.
Hang on, guys.
Salazar, shut up back there.
April
buddy.
Fool's Day. We got 2 segments from you guys. Thanks for everything. No.
Absolutely.
But hey, thank you for everything.
Real quick, plug your
One
bit
more
again.
time, yes.
Your podcast and your
Yeah,
program.
Ducks on the Pond. It's on our on website, but you can follow it on Spotify, Apple, and which one? Amazon. What are the main
Wherever
ones?
podcasts
Yeah.
can be downloaded.
There you go.
I think
He
it goes
takes
to
care
there,
of
yeah.
all that. He's
Right.
really good at it.
Also, if you're around Waconia on May 17th, there's Baseball Day Minnesota. We'll come back. We'll talk more about Baseball Day Minnesota, but that's a collection of some of the best teams in the state. That is going to be in one place, and some great baseball and some fan-friendly atmosphere there.
Yeah.
That's something I did want to make sure that everybody got. Baseball. I mean, hockey day is a huge deal. I mean, baseball doesn't get the credit that they deserve, right? Baseball day. Let's go support that. Let's get out there and support these kids and grow this sport in Minnesota, because it doesn't get enough. Lacrosse came in. Lacrosse is going away.
We're not going to
let's
talk
get-
about lacrosse.
Let's get those lacrosse boys back.
If we would have known about a certain individual who transferred, we would know about that before I picked teams. We might have the Zephyrs play. Dynamite 1-2 over there for Matamidi this year.
Yeah,
a couple of lefties.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun year, but
Great
boys,
coach, great program. They're in
thanks
good
for-
hands over there.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun year for sure. But thanks for coming, fellas. You guys drove a long way. Hopefully, have you guys back, and hopefully you can be part of the Pull Tab family, because you guys
Yeah.
got a lot to bring to the table for sure.
It's a lot of fun. Appreciate you having us.
But
Take us home, Bobby.
thanks for listening. You can be heard. We can be heard on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and other platforms where you get your podcasts. Please like and subscribe, and tell a friend about us. Last of all, just like I learned growing up on the East Side, work hard. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Tell it like it is. Help your neighbors. Try to contribute in a positive way. Smile, laugh, and be a good person. And most of all, Don't be a dick.
See
We're out.
ya.